Hi, I'm Chris Unger. I'm on the Doctor of Education program at the College of Professional Studies at Northeastern University. I was asked to speak today to an issue or challenge that I've been trying to overcome with a technology of some sort. One of the things that I have found in my hybrid classes, where I'm actually able to convene students together in a shared space and time, is that constructing opportunities for them to talk about their what they're thinking, about their own stories, their histories, and connect it to the ideas and the readings that we are engaged in the class has been actually some of the most important and I would say valuable sort of learning experiences that they've had. So think about, as I think we probably have all experienced, when you create an opportunity for people to be face-to-face and working directly with one another in real time and to able to share their experiences with one another is somewhere where the greatest learning occurs. So now the question is, what do you do when you're creating an online environment and people aren't able to sit in the same room and be in the same place or space at the same time? And can we reconstruct that opportunity for a conversation that is meaningful in some way? So I was faced with that challenge a couple of years ago, and I'm not saying I've completely figured it out, but I'm doing some things I think in class that are helpful or maybe helpful to others. One of the things I think a lot about is not how online learning is less than and how do we make up for what we do have when we're face-to-face in learning, or teaching and learning, but in fact, what are some tools and ways that we can use online learning that's actually better than what we can do face-to-face? Let me talk about VoiceThread first of all. I would say it's a fairly easy tool to use for the instructor or the person who's setting it up. All you would need to do is construct a PowerPoint of some sort. You can use slides, you can put questions on there, you can put content on there, you can put videos on there, you can put pictures on there. I actually use a lot of pictures and photographs when I create voice threads. But using a PowerPoint, there would be a series of slides. There might be questions embedded in them, or I might want to provide some commentary. So think about it as you being able to walk through slide by slide and some content and actually able to post a narration. So when you have a narration, your picture of you or an image of you shows up at the side of the screen. So you'll see a picture of Dr. Unger on the side of the screen, and you'll hear my voice saying, "Welcome to class," and here's what the class is about, and here's what I'm hoping to engage you in, and so forth and so on. Now, later in those slides, I will ask questions. For example, you've all read chapter 2 of such and such this week. Please provide a comment on what you gained from that that you think is valuable or personally meaningful to you. Now, Susan in Hartford, Connecticut could get on and add a response. And the nice thing about it is her picture will show up on the side, and she can actually type in a response, which would be text-based. She can actually orally provide a response, so it'll be oral, and you can listen to her. Or you can actually provide a video response. So she can actually turn her she could have her video camera on, and she could provide a video-based response. So now she's the first person, but Aria in Seattle, Washington gets on and she hears me. She listens to Susan or whoever else was contributing to the voice at the time, and she may respond either with text-based, orally, or with video. And by the end of the week, depending on the number of students in the class, we could have as many as 20 or 30 students that are all populated around the slide on the edges with their picture, and they're actually providing text, oral, or video-based commentary. And they may be referring to one another. So you're creating this opportunity around a particular slide where students are able to have a conversation, but it's not in real time. That means I've actually had students in Tokyo and Bangkok and New Delhi, a small island off the coast of Alaska, rural Oklahoma, and they have a conversation over the course of a week, and they're able to converse and go back and forth through this particular medium. I will say a benefit to this that is different than doing something face-to-face or in the same space in a classroom, which is interesting, is that when you're in a space like a classroom, typically people should not be talking over one another. Somebody probes or asks a question or offers a story, and then somebody else fills in the space with their response. And so it's in line, one after the other, and some people are, let's say, are relatively more shy or want to listen, not really offer anything, take it all in, and think about what everybody is saying, and may not as readily offer a response. Well, so guess what happens in VoiceThread? This person can listen to all these different comments and commentary and these questions and the sharing of stories, and lo and behold, it may be 6 hours later or the next day or 2 days later, the person's thought about it, and then she or he is able to add a response. So now you're gaining something. I would think this is one example where VoiceThread actually is something that augments learning or enhances learning, because you don't have to insert yourself and wait in a series of points made by different individuals to insert yourself or add a comment or offer a question. What you have is a week to listen, mull over, think about, and then offer your response. And then others, maybe later in the week, could listen to what you had to say and kind of respond. So in fact, actually, one of the key things I wanted to make a point about is the fact that we might think about how we can construct environments or online learning structures or use of tools so that in fact the learning that is available to students is actually better than what we could have in a face-to-face classroom environment.